The Firefighter show is back and more ridiculous than ever. In my last 911 video, we explored the cinematic masterpiece, which was Beenado, the opening 3-episode arc to Season 8. But here we are with Season 9, where they have somehow upped the ante. Space, the final frontier. I mean, it has to be the most out there thing this show about firefighters and a single police officer could possibly do, right? What's next? Aliens? Going to Mars? Another dimension? Honestly, anything's possible in this show. But funny enough, them going to space is not even the most ridiculous thing that happens in these episodes, in my opinion. So come along as we explore what Season 9 has to offer. Spoilers ahead. So the first episode begins exactly as you'd expect, with a satellite meteor shower crashing into the International Space Station. I can't wait for the 118 to somehow show up to help, where Buck would say something like, we're gonna need a bigger ladder. But that whole space thing is not important yet. What is important is we have a discount Elon Musk guy currently in a lawsuit, in which Oceanside chick calls him while he's kayaking. Then, and I can't even describe this any better than just showing you, this happens.
I will eat them for
Yes, that did just happen. Remember when I said I didn't think the space part was the most ridiculous part of these episodes? What's even crazier is who knew the inside of a whale had such good reception, as they are still able to FaceTime him. Anyway, the 118 shows up to help because apparently the Coast Guard and water rescue are nowhere to be found, even though the whale is like 2 feet from land. Buck says a dumb line.
There she blows.
And the newly appointed Captain Chimney comes up with a plan to recreate a whale sound to get the whale to spit out the billionaire dude, which using a hose, a cone, and their sirens works somehow. Then Eddie jumps in to save Elon, only to truly be saved by Hen. This is important to remember for later. Then we move on to the second call of the episode, in which the 118 gives kids alcohol. I'm serious. So there's this whole school bus with kids in which they say this.
Hey, you two, knock it off.
Tell him to stop sexting my girlfriend.
You're 10 years old.
And I got more game than you ever will, old man.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. You guys ever feel more like Squidward as you grow up? That's how I feel with this guy right here. Anyway, so the kids all pass out, and then the driver passes out after driving like crazy. Like, dude, I know you're getting drugged, but just hit the brakes. Anyway, they say a lot of scientific science stuff, but basically the way to save the kids is by giving them alcohol. It's a whole chain reaction chemistry thing, I don't know. But Chimney says this, which is funny.
Oh no, this is not for us. This is for the kids.
And then they take them all to the hospital. Then Hen gets a call from the man himself, Elon Musk, who wants to thank her by saving his life by, you guessed it, sending her to space. Yeah, I'm kidding, by the way. No one would have guessed that. But he is sending her to space along with a +1. Now, naturally, Hen would go with her partner Karen, who works with space engineering. But for some reason, there's some legal stuff between her and Elon Musk's company, so she can't go, causing an ever so slight problem between the two. Now, to be fair, it's a small argument, but man, it seems like these two never get along. But of course, now Hen has to decide who she goes with. Unsurprisingly, they have segments where all the boys fight for the spot by bribing Hen. But before she decides that, we cut to one of the most unnecessarily sad calls in a while. It's of this woman who was slowly dying in her apartment after losing her husband and her baby and not having anyone who cares about her anymore. Seriously, this show does a great job of having fairly unserious scenes about someone going to space to having the most depressing mini storylines. It's actually insane. But it leads Athena to start reflecting on herself since, spoiler alert, Bobby died. I'm still mad about that, by the way. But she gets called out by her kids for not ever being around since he passed, leading her to finding out that her son literally quit high school and she had no idea. Anyway, that all leads to her talking to Hen and, in the simplest way, saying she just needs to get away and she just needs some space. You can see the light bulb turn on in Hen's head, which of course activates the most predictable song to come on, and we see Athena and Hen heading off to the stars. And that is episode 1. Keep in mind, we have 3 more episodes of this arc. We haven't even gotten to the space part yet. Anyway, in the second episode, we get an overly drawn out interview scene with the members going on the space mission, including but not limited to Elon Musk's wife, who says this.
Trip says that when you're up there, your consciousness shifts and you see that Earth has no borders, no divisions, just oneness. The Buddha called it Nibbana.
A football coach who uses way too much sports terminology while constantly being bitter that he didn't go on his own Apollo mission back in the day. A random ass kid who uses the word stoked like it's 1995.
I'm humbled and stoked, but mostly stoked.
Hen who does nothing but talk about how her wife wanted to go. And then Athena, who never said anything except make a space pun.
Why do I want to go to space? I have no earthly idea.
Then we see Hen and Karen fight, sorta kinda, like they do every episode since she can't go to space. Then we see Hen and Athena get drunk, talking about how Athena is bad luck, which I can't exactly argue. It's like what I said about Buck in the last video. Yes, Athena manages to always fix the problem, but more often than not, she is the cause of said problems. Not in this case though, but there are many other examples. Meanwhile, Harry is mad at his mom for going to space while he works at discount Starbucks, and his sister tells him to chill out while showing little to no concern about the fact that it's also her mom going to space. Now you could argue that she's calm because she used to be a dispatcher like Maddie, but you've seen how Maddie can be, so who knows? Anyway, then Vestman shows Balon Susk an unreleased mock-up of the Dark Side of the Moon album cover and tells him there's a 43% chance of a geomagnetic storm that could wipe out the ship Hen and Athena are about to go on. But of course, Relon Dust doesn't care and goes ahead with the launch anyway. Then we get some interviews from the 118 and family members where Harry is Salty McSalterson.
Our mom's a lot of things, never saw her as an astronaut.
And Buck and Ravi say this.
Have a blast. Have a blast off.
You know, sometimes, just sometimes, this show is a bit cringe. Then we see what looks like a high school AV club news footage showcasing the launch, where we also see the 118 cheering Hen and Athena on. Also, Maddie looks like she's about to cry, as usual. Then they go into space, only for Karen to get a call from her coworker warning her about the geostorm. Then Kid, who still thinks he's from the 90s, says this.
Oh, that is dope!
They then do a few, you're gonna wanna take a look at this cliches. Then the satellites head straight towards the ship.
Brace for impact.
This show. Then Elon Gus can't math. Shout out to my can't math videos.
No, you said it was only a 10% chance. I said 43.7%.
Then the ship starts spinning out of control like it's Discount Interstellar, and the crew decides the only way to stop the spinning is to unplug the controls and plug them back in, which somehow works. This is cinema. Also, side note, the steam blowing out of the ship loses its tracking on the last frame of this shot. Come on, 911, you're better than this. Who am I kidding? No, actually that fits. Then random ass kid has a heart attack. Old coachman reminds us he's an old coachman.
Seen this happen on the football field. A player takes a hard knock to the chest. Next thing you know, he's down.
Then yoga chick shows us this prototype Apple Watch, then says this.
It also scans for toxic vibes, and just an FYI, everyone, the vibes in here are not good.
Meanwhile, the 118 get called on duty, in which Buck has Harry tag along.
911, what's your emergency?
The sky is falling.
W Chicken Little reference. Then Hen tries to give CPR to the kid while in space. Old Coachman says this.
Now, that's what I'd call American ingenuity right there.
She saves the kid, only for Coachman again to say this.
So we're just stuck up here? Until what, we die?
That's stinking thinking, son. Nobody ever won a ball game with an attitude like that.
Dude, what is this? What am I watching? Then we see that all of Gilon Just satellites are falling from the sky, and also causing outages in discount Teslas and other technology linked to said falling satellites. So we see the 118 stop this car with sand. Anakin was nowhere to be found.
I don't like sand.
I'm never getting one of those again. 0 stars. 0!
A reminder though that the show can go from funny to holy shit, as this man gets fucking domed in the face. Then we see Karen do some bippity boppity with some old sat phones to use other satellites to contact Hen in the shuttle. Meanwhile, the 118 takes Uberman to the hospital.
The app for my pacemaker is telling me I'm having a heart attack.
Then you should let me go first, because mine's telling me I'm dead.
Then the 118 fights off a killer robot that looks like he should be in the repair shop from WALL-E. He has a laser, a bone saw, and even throws a scalpel at Buck. Holy shit, what in the Terminator am I watching? We also have a shot that features 2 lovely cameramen. Come on, 911. But eventually they beat the shit out of the robot after unplugging it didn't work. That's not scary at all. Then we finally see Karen get a hold of Hen, which... I'm sorry, that's not how floating in space works. You can so tell that phone is being held up by string. Bro, they didn't even try. Dude, come on. But they tell them the situation. Hen has a 10 out of 10 line.
I really can't take you anywhere.
Then the most realistic fire ever starts flooding the shuttle. This is real fire. You can't tell me it's not. Even if it's not perfectly tracked and I can see the keyframes trying to adjust it, this is a real fire. Okay? It's real. Anyway, on to episode 3. So the third episode starts right where we left off, with the yoga lady saying this.
We need to vent!
Is now really the time?
No,
And Athena saying this.
Don't we need oxygen to live too? Stop asking questions and shoot the hell up!
You know, Athena usually has an attitude, right? But that was just straight up mean. That was a perfectly valid question from him. Anyway, then it cuts to this couple going through relationship problems. Literally, this guy looking like me every time I have to see Jeremiah in The Summer I Turned Pretty. Can't get over that show. But they shout out Beenado, which is cool.
I thought the news was being hyperbolic, like Carmageddon or Beenado or something.
And then they kinda sorta break up, where she storms off into the subway where, one of the satellites crashes into it. Then we cut back to the shuttle, in which they successfully put out the fire by the Martianing their hole, or whatever the fuck that's called, now waiting for Karen to call them back, in which Karen is watching Elon Dust do damage control, which leads to Maddie almost crying again. Then the 118 shows up to help Lori, the girl who fought with Cal, I think that's his name, this guy, in which I'd like to point out something that I don't think gets discussed enough in this show. Who's driving the rig? In this arc, and in this whole show basically, every time they show the 118 in the rig, they always show all of the main characters and no one else. Except, none of the main characters are ever in the driver's seat. So who is this mysterious driver? Comment down below who you think it is. What's their name? What's their story? Let me know. Anyway, Lori is stuck under some rubble, so they devise a plan to unstuck her. But then one of the burst pipes starts flooding into the area, making things much more complicated. You know, to give credit where it's due, scenes like this are actually really well done in this show. Most of the show is cheesy entertainment, but they got some really good drama sprinkled in there as well, like this whole scene. Anyway, they do a mini 911 Nashville crossover. Comment down below if I need to check out that show. But they use Nashville to contact Hen again to tell them to go up to the International Space Station to get help. Meanwhile, Harry gets put on babysitting duty, which he clearly hates. And May ends up helping this woman at the fire station by using the woman's own hair to cinch up a wound. Anything's possible in this show, I'm telling you. Also, this man says this to Harry.
You're not a firefighter?
No.
You're like a Make-A-Wish kid or something?
That is a crazy thing to say. What the fuck? I know your girl's dying, but Jesus Christ, man. Back to the shuttle, they begin preparing to dock at the station, in which they can't get in contact with them.
Docking procedures like riding a bike.
But you never made it to space.
I did it many, many times in the simulator.
So like riding a stationary bike in 1972.
I mean, he is clocking the old man, but he's got a point. He also does this.
Your wife said we wouldn't be able to dock.
She also said it'll be fine.
Yeah, right after she said,
Look!
Valid crash out, I can't even lie. Then we cut back to Lori, in which the water gets too high and the only option is to cut off her leg that's stuck. And once again, it's actually a really well done scene. I can't lie. Again, I love the over-the-top space Beenado shit, but this show does have the ability to make a more grounded story. Keyword, more grounded story. But in the end, they save her life. Then back to the shuttle, the kid starts panicking, and then this happens.
Parker, let's bring our awareness to our breath, to our bodies. Pull it through.
Okay, namaste ain't working. Let me. Look at me. Hear me when I say every breath you take is a minute you're stealing from everybody else. So pull your ass together.
Okay, I'm not trying to be an Athena hater, but Athena is pissing me off in this. She did not even give the yoga instructor ample time to calm him down, and she really thought her speech was going to calm him down. I mean, yes, it did. We all saw it. But let me tell you, that would not have worked on me. What's even funnier is after that, they have to space jump to the station because they couldn't dock, and the kid ran out of air. And what does Athena do to save him? She smacks him in the face. Like, I think she just straight up did not fuck with that kid this entire arc, and I don't know why. Anyway, they get to the station officially, only to find one crewmate dead and the other severely injured. Then yet another round of debris hits the station, and that is episode 3 done. On to the final episode of this arc, we see Buck and Harry getting along, and it seems like Harry is finally coming around. Also, Buck barely complained about anything this arc. That is some serious character growth. Then Maddie catches Chimney up to speed on the shuttle, in which she almost cries for the 23rd time, but the crew is fine after the debris hit again, and they start getting ready to go back home on the escape pod. But there's this arm thingy they need to fix, and the only way to do that is to get the tools off the dead guy who's floating in space. So naturally, Old Man Coach volunteers to go get it.
I'll do it. I'm the only other one who's been NASA trained for a spacewalk.
No offense, but that's when the Brady Bunch was in its original broadcast run.
This man is my favorite and least favorite character in this arc. But at the end of the day, Hen decides she'll be the one to go out there and get the tools. Then we see Athena finally answer the interview questions from episode 2, which cuts back to a long-ass segment of her back in 1998 and her partner, the Walking Dead guy. I'm sure he's been in other stuff, but who cares? But it's a really long scene talking about her putting herself back out there after her first husband died, which then leads to a bank robbery, a giant shootout, and her partner getting shot and eventually killed. Also, she decides last minute to go on the spacewalk herself instead of Hen to save her, which first of all, she says that she has nothing left on Earth, even though she has 2 kids. That's crazy. And also in the interview, she says the true heroes are the ones who don't make it back. So selfishly, I think she's just trying to be a hero herself. Realistically, so people don't think I'm a cynical asshole, she also says she doesn't want to lose anyone else, which is why she doesn't want Hen to go. And Hen also has a family of her own. But come on. Let me joke and have my fun. She just wants the hero status. Anyway, meanwhile, the other crewmates pull an Apollo 13 and strip the escape pod to fit more than 4 people. And then Kid and Yoga Lady legitimately start to flirt after she says she thought discount Elon Musk was cool, but now thinks he isn't that great of a person. I wonder if that was an analogy of something or someone. Anyway, then Athena goes out to fix the arm thing for the escape pod, in which her suit gets damaged. Then there's this whole slow-mo montage scene, kind of a flashback scene, all accompanied by some Lord of the Rings sounding music. Basically, it shows her partner dying and telling her to move on from her first husband. And then there's her current self telling her younger self to move on from Bobby, which doesn't really make any sense. I think there was a whole message in this arc about Athena getting over and moving on from the death of Bobby, but I don't think it really hit for me. I don't know. Anyway, she does manage to fix the arm and they get ready to go home. Except, uh-oh, old coach man stays behind. I am so sad. But because of that, they managed to make it home. Yay! Then we get an epilogue, where we first see Lori's leg gone. I'm sorry. As cute as this trauma is not going to solve the problem you guys had before, and the missing leg will only complicate your life going forward. I'm sorry. That was very cynical of me. I'm sorry. I take it back. I take it back. Kinda. We then see the old coach man making plays for his football team while still in space, which is kind of funny. But then we also see Yoga Woman break up with Elon Musk and walk away with the random ass kid. Okay, that's fucking crazy, but I kind of love it. Then finally, we see the Grant family make up. Harry says sorry for being a dick, and Athena says sorry for not being around, and also not realizing that Harry was recast like 2 seasons ago. She probably just now noticed that. Then it goes back to the flashback one more time, where she finally decides to move on with a man who will eventually become the gay father to May and Harry. That is what happens. Also, I did think the whole flashback storyline was really unnecessary to the space arc, but honestly, I would rather watch that part of Athena's life over this current one. That bank robbery scene was cool, and the young Athena actress did great. Make an Athena prequel show, ABC, I dare you. Anyway, so that was the space arc from season 9 of 911. I seriously do not know how they could ever top the ridiculousness of this arc. In fact, guys, comment down below what you would want them to do for season 10 and beyond. What crazy, catastrophic event do you want to see the 118 tackle next? Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like the 911 content, please let me know by leaving a like on this video, commenting down below, and subscribing. Because of how much you guys liked the last video, and if you like this video, I'm heavily considering going all the way back to season 1 and doing a full analysis of the show. So if that's something you want, please let me know. But for now guys, once again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a kick-ass rest of your day. Much love, and I will see you all in the next one.